So I get your inspiration for writing this book. It's clear if you had never lost a child, this book would not have come from you. So I get the inspiration, but I want to strip it away, because from what you're saying, you seem to, it's helping you, but there's this, you heal, you grow, you help others. And I feel there's a lot of focus on you help others.
Yeah.
So I want to strip away to the real motivation of the book. You keep using the word taboo in your book.
Yeah.
This whole thing is taboo. People don't know.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be what life is about. Yeah. People enter and get out blind, with no clue, and they tell you, Guma, be strong, be a man, go through the stages of grief. So strip all that away from me. What is your real intention
for
writing this book?
So there are 3 phases of why I wrote this book. One was to inform, because we, as a culture, that we have so many cultures in Uganda. We have the entertainment, we have the wedding, we have but death has been cocooned. It is so bad that even you hear Guma for a person who has lost their spouse. I'm like, no. By the way, here, you cry those tears and finish them, all of them, until they are, even if you want to take 2 years off in life, do it. You know why? It's inevitable.
Yeah.
And it's inevitable, and we don't have, it's like whispered. You know that? Why?
Yeah.
You know, and then people always feel the need to say something.
Yeah.
There is nothing, I won't lie to you, there is nothing, whether you say I'm going to give you $1 million, that's going to make me happy at that moment, because I've lost something. And I am owed the right to go through the grieving process.
Yes.
And that grieving
Your
process
way.
is not, it cannot be defined by what you say or by what, it's me. There are other people who get their chicks who I know have met and they have lost and gotten up, gone to work like, it's all right, and she is fine, and you sit down with her and she's like, no, really. Because I also feel the emotional intelligence that we are dealing with is on totally different levels altogether. There's someone who gets it and is like, okay, it has happened. I'm going to take this time off work. I am going to organize myself. And you know, there are those people who compartmentalize. Yeah. Then the others who are all over the place. Like today they are sad, tomorrow they are in acceptance. Today, like that, like that. So, and it keeps going on like that, back and forth. So the first thing was to inform people. The things that we say to people when they have lost, even if you've lost a child, they're just wrong. Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing that, that's why now I just came up with Shalom, because I was like, there is nothing I'm going to say that's going to make you feel. So all I can do is wish you peace. Yeah. Wherever you are. That's all.
Yeah. And it's amazing that now that's your message, because in your book, you wrote a lot about, even before you lost the baby or knew that the baby had gotten angel status, you kept saying, God, give me peace. And then when your doctor comes in, and he's bringing you that baby, he's saying, he prayed that God gives you peace.
Some of it is really annoying. Some will take you back of, okay, you have carried your child for all those 9 months. And you're like, really? Like you're taking me back. And then goes, yes.
Yes, they come.
They think they
are
don't.
those who come up to now.
They come up.
This is 1 year and 3 months later, and they are still, Ngachitalo.
Chitalo.
I'm like, do you know what that word means? Say it in Luganda. Let's do direct translation into English. Inga, it's such a tragedy. This is such a tragedy. That's what we are saying. Really.
Like you're emphasizing the point.
Don't tell me. I know. You see, everyone who's going through a loss, they know. You don't have to come and tell them that they know. It's like telling the pump attendant at the fuel, you're pumping fuel. He knows what he's doing. He knows. Yeah. So I know what I'm going through. The thing here is, and because we do that, you don't give the person chance to come to you.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. Now you're dying and by yourself. Yeah. Instead of being very open about it and saying, okay, you know what? The next person who comes to see me, or the next person who comes and just sits with me, I'm going to open and tell them. Yeah. And that's what happened for me. Because I had people around me, but no one was saying anything, because they were like, Kechoi, I can just flip on you, so let's just leave her. Yeah. But then the others who just came out of the blue like a wow, but there's a chick who came and cried more than me. Oh. I looked at her and I was like, you lost a child also. She looked at me, no, I said, Dora, out.
Yeah.
Out.
Denise, on that note, I mean, I can't speak with much authority. That said, I'm sure you do understand people have different stages of mourning, but the pain is the same. You know, the way you deal with it is different. Just like when people come, I've had miscarriages. I haven't, you know, lost a child. That's that's the worst thing that could ever happen to any human being. But when these people come to visit, because of our culture, you know, we've been raised to say something, you know, because on the other side, if you look at the Western world, they keep quiet and they wait for it to open up. But that is not how we are built. As guys, we are family. We are in each other's business, which also sometimes helps, because at the end of the day, less suicide rate, because much as you might not like to hear what they are saying, at least they're saying something to you. I don't know.
I hear you when you say culture.
Yeah.
I won't blame them much, because
Yeah.
all they know to
that's
say
what
is
they've
gachitalo when you come here.
That's what they've inherited. But you see, we can't pass this on. This is what I'm trying to do with this book. We can't pass it on because words hurt. The thing that I keep telling people is words hurt. I will remember what you said on 28th December 2017 in 2020. I will remember at that point. There are people who I still remember when my mom died. I still remember they said, I keep looking at them and I'm like, oh Lord, there comes, me and my brother, we have inside jokes. We're like, hey, there comes the person of Guma. So you see, and we have it and we have inherited it. Where did it come from? That's what I'm trying to say. Why is it that the Westerners have a way of dealing with grief? They sit and see counselors very happily. Someone will tell you, I'm shopping for a therapist. Jesus, I said, what? What said, yeah, you know, they don't fit. You have to find, and it's a relationship. That's what it is. A therapist is someone who is holding you accountable. It's an accountable partner. That's all it is. Here in Africa, they'll say therapist, mentor. What is that? And yet, listen, when your physical body is ill, you go to the hospital. They'll check you, what. When your spirit is low and you go to church, what happens to your soul? What are you doing for your soul? Who are you seeing? Who are you talking to? What are you reading? What are you pumping yourself off? So this grieving thing has to be put in a way that makes it, I don't know how to put it, easier for, like, I can't see my daughter going through this and then I see you come say Guma.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
It's like my auntie, the one of mpozi gwete wazala mwana, but that's another day. You know, Angie, you just said something that mothers that miscarry, you know. Angie, you're like a strong chick.
You're very strong. The way you say
You are a
it,
strong chick, eh?
She just said it in
Yeah.
Yeah, she just said it in passing, but
yeah.
but you're a strong.
there's
There's no comparison. That's a thing, and I was just thinking to myself, like, Angie, how can you you know, like, you've been through this experience, you've still lost a child, like you know, like she was saying earlier. You've built a certain relationship where you're touching your tummy, looking into the mirror, smiling, thinking of this child like, you know, they're going to be present, but they're not.
I had one. Before I lost my child, and I went through that experience, and whenever someone says I've had a miss, I just look like, wow. And then someone will tell you I had like 7. You're like, hold me. Hold me. What? You went through this 7 times. And then they'll say, yeah, but now I have 2 beautiful children. I'm like, oh, so there's the rainbow. Okay, I see the rainbow. But they broke there. At 7, they broke. And because we are women, we are being pick yourself up and go. That picking yourself up, that's what you're asking. How to do the picking up. People have different ways of picking themselves. Other people don't even bother. Like me, at some point, I think I was picking myself up with painkillers. Then there was a lot of wine in there, like a lot of wine. Like I drank wine till my brother-in-law was like, you are the bottle itself. And then at some point I was like, okay, this has to stop now. Okay, there has to be some, like, I wish our guilty pleasures were positive things. Like, why can't I work out? Why can't it be my thing? Why can't I be the person who likes cabbages and those things. Why is it that it's like pork and ice cream and then you add the wines like why isn't the thing that I rant, why isn't my coping mechanism something that's positive? You know? And I normally attribute that to we haven't been taught to deal with our emotions.
Yes.
Emotional intelligence is lacking. You can see someone from afar, you're like, why are you so angry? Why has this thing pissed you off? Why are you not moving from this thing? And it's something that happened in their past that they didn't deal with. So when you see women who have had miscarriages, there's a break. It's just that they picked themselves up and went. Yeah. But it's not a very...
And who do you think is dealing better with this?
What? With miscarriages?
Yeah, with that kind of, if you go through this situation, which people do you think are dealing with it better?
No
the
one is.
Western world?
No. I think that...
Generally...
No, and I think that's the thing here. We won't even talk about it. They have so many, let me tell you, from the time do you know that I didn't know that I could have stayed with my child in the hospital for as long as I wanted? I didn't have to give them back. They don't. They didn't even know that they didn't even want me to have my baby. There's a chick who I went on, it's called SONS, it's a stillbirth and neonatal deaths. It's a group on Facebook. Imagine I had to get help from the Western world to deal with my situation, because here in Uganda I looked for groups, nothing, no one. They're just like, oh why ojakuba bulungi. So they have pictures with their children. There's a chick who washed her baby. She was Jewish, so she went through the whole. She said, I know him inside out, I know his hair, and I looked and I said, they have bulleto mementos, they have like fingerprints and footprints, they have, and I was like,
I know, like, I think that's what hurt me most, not getting, I didn't get the chance.
And then Orthodox, they have a whole service for the babies, because Christ has that thing of bring the children, let the children come to me. So they have a whole, I was like, no, we have to change this.
I want to ask, what would you say to like the people, because we've talked about how community is in our business, like people come and they mourn with you, whichever crude way they know how to.
True, yeah.
I'm talking about like the immediate family, like your spouse or your siblings. How would you, because you've been through it, how would you advise them to be there for someone who has lost? In terms of things that you do, things that you say, the little things. I remember, I think I read a line in the book that said, your husband, I don't know if it was your husband, would get you out of bed and just say, let's take a walk. Yeah. So it's those little things.
So there's a little things, but I don't know. It also depends on your family. There are a couple of people whose family this happens, and then they will distance themselves. My family is not. My family is in your business, in your business. But this time, I think they were all a bit. They were like, let's wait for her to come and tell us what to do. But what I liked, like my husband, it was like chore, because he had never looked after me. So I'm that person. I'm the look after. How are you doing? Who's so for him this one now, he was like, he even reached a point of bathing me. Like that for him, he'd be like, okay, let's go bathe. I think it was his way of trying to get me to be clean.
I was smelling.
I think I was smelling. No, but I think it was the little things that he did. Then he'd come. There's a time he came and he just assured I was wallowing. I had wallowed really. It was just one of those days. And then he said, you know what, Kechoe? You're going to have to get out of this room. You're going to have to eat. But the way he said it, it was so harsh. I looked at him and I was like, yeah. And then, of course, you start the whole victim. Yeah. Do you know? And then he looked and said, hey, Mpozi, you made this baby by yourself. 10-0. I just got myself and I went and I had breakfast. Yeah? So your family, it depends on how that. But what you should do is have a walk with me. A walk with me is someone who has gone through this. And because you break, the worst time for mothers is 3 a.m.
Yes.
3 a.m.
Even when they've had, like, when their children.
I don't know whether I think even the system is still like, yes, it's 3 a.m. You will look for someone to talk to cry into, to just find a walk with me. And I had a walk with me because I had a friend who had gone through this earlier on. So she actually came to the hospital, and when she arrived, everyone was like, now Kecho is fine. Abby's here. They will do this thing. And so she just came and she knew what I wanted. And she was there for me. She told guys, bust. She got my laptop, put movies, and just say, just look at the screen. You don't have to even be what, just look at the screen. And she was silent the whole time. She was there for like 2 nights until my husband came. Now when my husband came, of course, now you're going through a whole other ball game. You're like, okay. And then we didn't even know that we had to grieve together. You know, there are some things which you're like,
what her husband
we
did.
did. Because now, even when he would take me for the walks, he just keep asking, how are you doing? And then it just never hit my go head to, how are you? Yeah.
You always think
It's you, and then everyone who's coming to see you. And then I was like, you know what? Someone needs
Grieving
to
together, I think, is very important. Maybe that's why it helped, because I've had 2 miscarriages. We lost baby girls, twins, 2 sets of twins. Yeah, like in the bathroom, but they had fingers. They had fingers, and okay, it looks like a little frog, but it had
Wait. You are in your bathroom at your home.
Okay, the first one I was at my daddy's home.
It's okay.
It's okay. When you say it like that, even me, I was in my daddy's home, the first and the second, and even the third, I was in my daddy's. So don't worry.
So you like hers was okay. So you reached hospital. Yes. But now you're in like how many months?
4.5 months.
And so,
but I didn't know that, I was pregnant. The first one really hurt him more than even it hurt me. Now the second, I knew what was happening. But for the first one came out. I was in the bathroom. I was like, what's happening? But of course, we couldn't tell my parents. Remember, I'd had a kid already. So of course, we zoomed quickly to a clinic, and they gave me an injection to close my cervix. Kumbe, there was another baby stuck inside.
Oh my God.
So of course, in the middle of the night, you're rushing to the hospital because I'm bleeding. No, we have a lot of blood in our body, eh?
As women, eh?
Lord, it just came.
I think it's what's on our stomachs.
I woke up and,
It's blood.
I woke up as I wanted to go to the bathroom, and I just slid, and I was like, what is this? Of course, I called him. Remember, you can't tell the Zays because... So we rushed there, and then, of course, the midwife was a nurse who was a nun, was extremely rude. Of course, on the side, there was someone who had swallowed like 27 chloroquine tablets. But then, along the way, my breast started leaking. Then she said, is when she realized that, no, I've had children before, just that I was young, but I've had children before, and it kind of helped, so it didn't look like I was trying to have an abortion. But the second one, I knew, and I wept. And now that's, when you say that it's good to mourn together, for the first ones, we sat, we washed them, we cried, and we buried them. But for the second, it was alone, and yes, it was way, way more painful.
It's way, way painful. And the husbands will retreat most times. They will pull away because even them, society has put them in a box, which is so bad. So they can't show their emotions. If they do, then they're weak. So I don't even know who they are crying to at some point. But we actually grieved at her 1-year anniversary, on her grave. Imagine we went for her the 1-year anniversary to plant orange seedlings, and my daughter started singing happy birthday. I said, how did this 9-year-old get this? And we are still here, Turikukava and everything. She's like, Mommy. And she's like, Mommy, if she was here, we would have had a bash, there would have been cakes. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah.
You speak and you're saying things, and I feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience.
Yes.
I feel like I'm on that tree somewhere, watching you, and not understanding, because even as you guys know, I have 1 child. Like, I fear childbirth like a problem. Like, I don't want to bring for myself problems, So I feel like, Banage, you even go back a second time for problems. Yeah. But I'm looking at you. I'm not religious. I'm not really religious. But I feel if I had to go through something like this, you speak of your husband, you grieve together, you have somebody, a support system, but at the end of the day, you're mere mortals. I feel like you need to have like something in the center of your heart, of your relationship. And I want to read something that I read from your book. that it touched me, and yet it spoke to me. I think you were going home after the baby was, everything had happened, and you were going home. And you're right, if God can take away something you never expected losing, He can replace it with something you never imagined having. This is a quote you got from Billy Graham, and it must be crucial. And Rosette, I want to ask you the same. You need to believe in something beyond, something bigger than us. And I see, Denise, that from here, and Lord, it's not the first time, even as we had the discussion, it's clear that you put God at the forefront of your grief, of your challenge, of this tragedy, or whatever has happened. That this helps. Does this help, Rosette, as well?
It is entirely what took me through it. No one, like no one, no human being can. And for me, I think my mindset just got the gist of it early enough. I didn't go through it for so long. I put myself together quickly, I think quicker than most people do. Yeah. But then God was at the center of it all. Like it's only Him that can take away the pain that you go through, because it's a dark time. Like every time you're alone, you keep going back to the memory. It's a very dark time, and it takes a bit of a while, but you give yourself that space. And when you like she said, you put a limit. You're like, no, I have to. This has to stop. I'm not the first. Let me go brush. This has happened to many more. Like she spoke about it, that time when Mama Tendo had lots of people, you're like, at least I've not died. Yeah. Let me put myself together, dust this off. Life has to move on. So yeah, the mindset as well. If you're not religious, I think you can tune your mindset to the positive. Yes.
There's someone who said there's a higher being. I sat with someone and they're like, the higher being. I was like, okay, let's go with the higher being. Because that's what she was like, Kechomi, I don't believe. Because if you're going to tell me that there's a God, and I said, God doesn't give bad gifts. That's the one thing I know. It's like you as a mother going and you go and pick the guston and then you give your child. I said, there's no way. This has nothing to do with God. In fact, where He is literally telling you, oh, my child, come. But the thing about us human beings, something bad happens, name Kama.
Why?
Chichi. And yet it has nothing to do with Him. He's just literally seated there like, now child, choice. And trying to explain this, because it's like, I didn't even ask. Like, I just wanted a child, and the mothers who are having it rough, the ones who I'm meeting more often, other mothers who are seeking infertility treatment, the fertility treatment. I reached a point where I was like, no, God, we are back here. We are back in the bathroom. What is this? What is this? And then, when the Holy Spirit tells you, and it's like, they have to let me handle this. They need to stop trying to be here. Yes, I gave the knowledge to the doctors, but I also have the spare parts. And I keep looking and I'm like, okay, if we are going to have faith that He will bring the rain, why can't we have faith that He will open the womb, that He will unblock the tubes, that He will put, and I looked and I was like, okay, now this is really faith. That's it.
I like where you have this quotation of, not all storms come to disrupt your life, some come to clear your path. For me, it speaks a lot. Like, this is a storm that can easily disrupt your life, but in most cases, it clears lots of paths. Like for me, it cleared. I was stronger in relationship with my hubby since then. Like it's just a bond that just put us together. Yeah, besides the bond with God, but also with Him. Like that's a time we knew we needed each other more, and yeah, it just kept constant.
This is the book. This is the book. Get it, read it. Nobody is beyond going through such a situation. It's not something that you would wish for anybody. I'm very sure most of you in your prayers, at least when I pray, I always pray that our parents never bury any of us and that I never bury any of my children. But if the time does come, God forbid, this book might be a good parachute of sorts to get you through some of those tough times. 35,000 shillings, buy, share, give it as a gift or something, but do make an effort and read it. We'll see you again next time. With love from Bump Love.
you.